Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Good afternoon to everyone in the community. I hope you're doing well. As usual, back again to let you know what's happening with our players, the team, and everything in between. And I'm sure you already know the story now. Victor Osimhen and Galatasaray have now been disqualified from the Europa League after they failed to beat AZ Alkmaar yesterday. The game ended in a 2-2 draw. Victor Osimhen showed up again, scored a fantastic goal to put one for Galatasaray by the time they were already losing like 2-0. So Osimhen scored one to make it 2-1, and then Salah scored the equalizer for Galatasaray, but that wasn't enough to get them over the line to qualify for the Europa League round of 16. So this means they are officially out now, and they just have the Turkish Super League to concentrate fully on now, and the cup, and the Turkish Cup as well. So Osimhen did everything he could. Of course, he's not a miracle worker. He's not God. He's only human. He can do what he can do as a human. There's nothing more than that he can do. And the thing that actually made me really happy about the performance is that he scored a goal as well, and then gave everything, gave 100% on the night. And someone actually, acknowledged the fact that Osimhen gave everything for this club on the night, and that person is a Turkish pundit who goes by the name, very complicated name. What's the name again? Karakuluku. I think that's the right pronunciation. But this guy said that Osimhen gave everything, even offered a bit of a good prayer for Osimhen on his punditry duty, where he said, good luck to Osimhen. May God be pleased with Osimhen. He tried very hard. He's a player whose story Galatasaray made miserable. I'm sad that Osimhen's story ended like this in Europe. He represented the Galatasaray jersey very well in Europe. Galatasaray's only game for the last 3 months is to hype Osimhen. He didn't trip or do anything. He did his best. So this is what this man has said about Victor Osimhen. Of course, it makes me happy, because then I know that they appreciate him right there in Turkey. They appreciated his effort on the night, even though it came to an end for them. But as I said, they have the league to focus on, and they are in a very good position right now. So they will try to get that one, even if it's the only thing that Osimhen wins at the end of the day before his loan deal expires, and it's a big achievement. But elsewhere, we saw Bright Samuel's Fenerbahce playing a 2-2 draw against Anderlecht, but that was enough to get them across the line to qualify to the round of 16 in the Europa League. Started that game, played as a right wing back, played for 67 minutes throughout the game, collected a yellow card, and apparently seemed to have been put under some sort of abuse by some section of the fans who, I don't know what happened, but it felt like section of the fans were fighting, and as if they were channeling some racial chants towards our own Bright Samuel. But it wasn't that emphatic. It wasn't very, very clear what really happened. That's probably a good idea that his teammates held him back. And we just hope that this Turkish Super League are going to, not just the Turkish Super League, Europa League as a competition as a whole, because it's a Europa League match. They're going to take full responsibility and try to get these people who do this unspeakable things to our players. But moving on, guys, we also saw in the Europa Conference League Daniel Daga making his first appearance, making his European debut finally last night, as his side Modo FK came away with a 1-0 victory at the home of Shamrock Rovers in Ireland. It was a very, very massive victory for them, but of course they lost 1-0 at their home, came to Ireland, played 1-0, which meant that they had to go into extra time. So Daniel Daga was introduced in the 95th minute, and then he played for the duration of the extra time. That means he played for like 30 minutes. And then an important moment for him was that he stepped up to play the penalty, during the penalty shootout for his club side. He was actually the second person that played the penalty, played it really clean and smooth, scored it, and then did his normal celebration. So at the end of the day, they qualified by a 5-4 penalty on the night. Congrats to the man. They are now into the round of 16 of the UEFA Europa Conference League. And then beyond that, just guys, Ademola Lookman's case with his head coach Gasperini is still hot right now. In the Atlanta Bergamo Training Center. As of yesterday, it was reported that a specialized committee was actually created to go into the training center and call the coach and call Ademola Lookman together and sort the issue out internally in an office, like sort of like a meeting with these two parties, and then talk the whole thing out and then have each other shake hands, apologize to themselves, and then wave the whole thing off. So that was actually the plan from the Atlanta Football Club yesterday. And I would think that that has already happened because that was, the plans as at yesterday morning, for their training. But what the coach said about Ademola Lookman has really echoed on the four corners of the world, and a lot of people are still reacting because it was viewed as a disrespect to not just a Nigerian top footballer, but by extension, Africa's best player currently. So that kind of angered everyone, not just Nigerians, but other African countries. And as a reaction, we've had a lot of great footballing legends in Africa reacting. DJ DROGBA is one of those people who has reacted. JJ Okocha as well has also reacted to what Ademola Lookman's coach said about him. And I'm just going to share some of the reactions from JJ Okocha as well as from DJ DROGBA. So JJ Okocha said that I think Gasperini overreacted by calling Lookman the worst penalty taker. He seems to have forgotten the incredible contributions Lookman has made to Atlanta. Many top players have missed crucial penalties without facing such harsh criticism. So why is Lookman's case being treated differently? In my opinion, if you take Lookman out of Atlanta, the club could struggle and even risk relegation. This is a submission from JJ Okocha, and I frankly agree with JJ Okocha on this, not just because it's JJ Okocha, but of course everything he's saying here is on point. Lookman is arguably the man that is, raising their heads above water. Without this man, they'll be struggling a lot. They'll be struggling. JJ DROGBA also commented, and for him, he said, "An insult to Africa's best Ademola Lookman is an insult on us all. As long as you are an African and shouldn't be taken for a joke. African players deserve to be respected. We are the ones who labor harder, yet we are the ones they disrespect all the times. I urge CAF to take necessary actions as to restore the respect of our players. Osimhen is still going through the same abuse from Napoli, and we all sit back to watch. Who knows the next victim?" So this is what DROGBA has said, and I love DROGBA so much because of how he stands up for African players. He stands up for these youngsters and tries to protect them every single time that he has the chance. Every time he sees them suffering, maybe under the club or by pundits who criticize them harshly, he steps up and tries to help them. This is the same thing he's doing for Ademola Lookman, and he's taking that responsibility as a legend to speak up on behalf of Ademola Lookman. Not just Ademola Lookman, but he also mentioned Victor Osimhen and what he's currently going at Napoli, which is another injustice that that's happening yet again to our player. These two guys, former African best player and then the current African best player. So that's what's currently happening right now. Let me know your thoughts about it, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.